Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the horizon's edge, watching the stars through the large window. He had been the ship's commander for 3 years now. The deep space research vessel floated quietly at the edge of human space, far from Earth and the busy trade routes. Lisa Parks sat at her communication station, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. She was trying to send their weekly report back to Earth Command. The blonde woman frowned as she looked at her screens. "Commander," she called out, "I'm getting something strange here." Jake walked over to her station. "What kind of strange?" Lisa shook her head slowly. "All the channels from Earth are dead. Not just the military ones. Everything. News feeds, civilian broadcasts, even the automated weather reports. Nothing is coming through." Dr. Alan Cooper looked up from his research. Notes: the tall man with gray hair had been studying alien plant samples all morning. "Probably just a solar storm," he said. "You know how those can mess with communications." Beth Hayes, the chief engineer, checked her instruments from across the bridge. She was a short woman with oil-stained hands and a mind for machines. "Our equipment is working fine," she said. "If there was interference, we would see it in our systems too." Jake felt a cold feeling in his stomach. In all his years in space, he had never seen Earth go completely quiet. There were always signals. Coming from home. Always. "Try the emergency channels," he told Lisa. Lisa's fingers danced over her controls again. She tried every frequency she knew. Military channels, civilian emergency broadcasts, even the old radio frequencies that some people still used. Nothing. The silence was complete. Captain Roy Adams entered the bridge just then. He was an older man with a gray beard who commanded the military escort ship that traveled with them. "Jake, we're having communication problems with Earth. Are you seeing the same thing?" Jake nodded grimly. Complete radio silence. "When did it start for you?" "About 20 minutes ago," Roy said. "One moment we were getting normal traffic, and next moment nothing. My communication officer checked everything twice. Our equipment is fine." Dr. Cooper stood up from his workstation. "This has to be some kind of technical problem. Earth doesn't just go silent. There are millions of people down there. Thousands of radio stations, television networks, internet satellites. Something would get through." Beth Hayes ran another check on their communication array. "I'm telling you, our systems are perfect. If Earth was broadcasting, we would hear it." Jake looked out at the stars again. Earth was many light years away, but they should still be getting signals. Radio waves traveled at the speed of light, and Earth never stopped sending them out into space. "Lisa, try contacting the nearest human colony," Jake ordered. Lisa tried to reach New Shanghai Colony, only 3 light years away. The colony was home to 50,000 people and had regular contact with Earth. Her face went pale as she listened to the empty static. "No response from New Shanghai," she reported. "I'm trying Kepler Station now." Kepler Station was a trading post that saw ships from across human space every day. If anyone would know what was happening, it would be them. But again, Lisa heard only silence. "Commander," Lisa said, her voice shaking slightly, "I can't reach any human settlement." Not one. The bridge fell silent except for the soft hum of the ship's engines. Jake felt the weight of command pressing down on him. His crew was looking to him for answers. He didn't have Dr. Cooper walk to the window and stared out at the stars. There has to be an explanation. Maybe there's some kind of massive equipment failure, or a cyber attack that took out all the communication networks at once. At the same time, across all of human space? Roy asked. "That's impossible. The colonies are light years apart. Even if someone attacked Earth, the colonies wouldn't know about it for years." Jake made his decision. "Roy, I'm calling off our mission here. We need to head back to Earth and find out what's happening. Roy nodded. My ship will escort you. If something has happened to Earth, we need to know. Jake turned to his crew. Beth, I want maximum speed to Earth. How long will it take us? Beth calculated quickly in her head. At full jump speed, about 2 weeks. But Commander, that will use most of our fuel. Do it, Jake said. Lisa, keep trying to contact anyone in human space. Send out general distress calls on all frequencies. Someone has to answer. As the horizon's edge began to turn toward Earth, Jake couldn't shake the feeling that something terrible had happened. In all of human history, Earth had never gone completely silent. Even during wars and disasters, some signals always got through. Dr. Cooper returned to his station, but couldn't focus on his work. What if something happened to everyone? He asked quietly. What if we're the only humans left? Don't think like that, Jake said firmly. There has to be a logical explanation. We'll find it when we get to Earth. But deep in his heart, Jake feared that Dr. Cooper might be right. The silence from Earth felt final, like the quiet after a great storm had passed. And that scared him more than any enemy they might face in the darkness of space. The ship jumped into faster-than-light travel, racing toward home and toward answers that Jake wasn't sure he wanted to find. The horizon's edge had been traveling toward Earth for 5 days when they met another human ship. The military cruiser Defiant appeared on their sensors, also heading toward home. Jake felt relief wash over him. They were not alone. Captain Dan Miller's face appeared on their main screen. He was a young man with dark hair and worried eyes. Commander Morrison, thank God we found you. Are you having communication problems too? Complete silence from Earth and all colonies, Jake replied. When did it start for you? 6 days ago, Dan said. We were on patrol near the Centauri system when everything just stopped. Every human outpost, every ship, every colony. All quiet at the same time. Dr. Cooper leaned forward. At the same time? That's impossible. The colonies are light years apart. How could they all go silent at exactly the same moment? Dan shook his head. I don't know, but that's what happened. We checked our ship's chronometer against yours. The silence started at exactly 14:32 Galactic Standard Time for both of us. Amy Foster, a navigation specialist, looked up from her calculations. She was a quiet woman who usually kept to herself. Captain Miller is right. If this happened naturally, the effect should have spread at light speed. It would take years to reach all the colonies. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Are you saying this isn't natural? I'm saying it defies everything we know about physics, Amy replied. For something to affect all of human space at the same instant, it would have to be outside our normal understanding of how the universe works. The two ships decided to travel together toward Earth. As they journeyed through space, they tried to contact any human presence they could think of. Mining stations, research outposts, trading vessels. Nothing responded. Dr. Cooper spent most of his time studying the data they had collected. The silence wasn't just the absence of radio signals. It was as if humanity had simply vanished from space. No heat signatures from human ships, no energy readings from human colonies, nothing. It's like we just disappeared, he told Jake one evening as they stood in the ship's observation deck. But that's impossible. You can't make entire planets full of people just vanish. Greg Stone, the ship's medical officer, joined them. He was a big man with gentle hands and kind eyes. The crew is getting scared, he said quietly. They're starting to think we might be the only humans left alive. Jake understood their fear. He felt it too. But as commander, he had to stay strong for his people. We don't know anything yet. When we reach Earth, we'll have answers. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other species were noticing humanity's disappearance. The Zephyrians were a peaceful race of traders who had done business with humans for 50 years. Their council met in emergency session to discuss the sudden silence from human space. "All our trade agreements are worthless if the humans are gone," said Trade Minister Veltar. "But more importantly, what could make an entire species disappear?" The Zephyrians sent scout ships toward human territory to investigate. They had always liked humans. Unlike some species, humans were honest in their dealings and kept their promises. In another part of the galaxy, the Keth Empire was also taking notice. The Keth were warriors who had been planning to invade human space for years. They saw humans as weak creatures who had spread too far too fast. General Mordock studied the reports from his intelligence agents. "The humans have gone completely silent. This could be a trap, or it could be our chance to take their territory without a fight." "Should we advance our invasion plans?" asked his aide. "Not yet," Mordock replied. "Something that can make all humans disappear might be a threat to us too." We watch and wait. Far away, in a hidden part of space, an ancient being called Elder Keeper Zarthol was reading old records. His species, the Watchers, had been observing other races for millions of years. They rarely interfered, but they remembered everything. The Great Awakening, he whispered as he read the ancient texts. "It has happened again, just as the prophecies said it would." Back on the horizon's edge, Jake was called to the communication station urgently. Lisa Parks had detected something unusual. "Commander, I'm picking up very faint energy readings from the direction of Earth," she said. "It's not radio, not anything we normally use for communication. It's something else entirely." Jake studied her readings. "What kind of energy?" "I don't know. Our computers can't identify it. It's like nothing in our databases." Dr. Cooper hurried over to look at the data. "These patterns are incredibly complex. Look at the mathematical relationships in the signal structure. This isn't random noise." Amy Foster ran the numbers through the navigation computer. "If this energy is coming from Earth, it started at exactly the same time the radio silence began." Jake felt his heart racing. "Are you saying Earth is transmitting something? Just not in any way we understand?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," Lisa replied. "Whatever happened to Earth, it didn't destroy it. Something is definitely happening." Down there, the revelation gave the crew new hope. Earth wasn't dead. Something was happening, something they didn't understand yet. But the planet was still active. Captain Miller's ship detected the same energy readings. The two crews worked together, trying to decode the mysterious signals. But the patterns were far too complex for their computers to understand. It's like trying to read a book written in a language that was never invented, Dr. Cooper said after hours of analysis. As they got closer to Earth, the energy signals grew stronger. Whatever was happening on their home planet was getting more intense. Jake ordered both ships to increase speed. He needed to see Earth with his own eyes. The journey that usually took 3 weeks now took only 10 days, thanks to their constant acceleration. But as Earth grew larger on their screens, Jake wondered if he really wanted to know what they would find there. The planet looked normal from space. The lights of cities still glowed in the darkness. Weather patterns moved across the continents, just as they always had. But the strange energy continued to pulse out from the planet like a heartbeat. "Whatever happened," Jake said quietly, "humanity is still down there, and they're doing something we've never seen before." The horizon's edge and the Defiant entered Earth's orbit after 2 weeks of travel. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, staring down at his home planet. From space, everything looked completely normal. The blue ocean sparkled in the sunlight. White clouds drifted over green continents. City lights twinkled in the areas where night was falling. "Scanning for life signs," reported Beth Hayes from her engineering station. "I'm reading millions of humans down there." "They're alive, Commander." Jake felt a huge wave of relief wash over him. Thank God. Can we contact them? Lisa Parks tried every communication frequency she knew. Still nothing, sir. They're not responding to any signals. Dr. Cooper studied the scanner readings. This is strange. The life signs are there, but they're all showing the same pattern. Heart rate, brain activity, breathing. It's like every human on Earth is doing exactly the same thing. Captain Dan Miller's voice came through from the Defiant. We're seeing the same readings. Whatever happened down there, it affected everyone the same way. Jake made his decision. We're going down. To take a look. Prepare a landing shuttle. I'll send the Marine squad with you, Dan offered. Lieutenant Kate Brooks assembled her team quickly. She was a tough woman who had served in 3 border conflicts. Her Marines were good soldiers who could handle anything. We'll be ready in 10 minutes, Commander. The shuttle landed in New York City's Central Park. As they stepped out, Jake was struck by how quiet everything was. The city that never slept was completely silent. No traffic noise, no voices, no sounds of machinery. Even the birds seemed to have stopped singing. Kate Brooks led her Marines through the empty streets. Their boots echoed loudly in the silence. Sir, this is really weird. Look at the cars. Jake looked where she was pointing. Cars were stopped everywhere, but not crashed. They sat perfectly in their lanes, as if their drivers had simply turned off the engines and walked away. The doors are all unlocked, reported Marine Tony White. He was checking the vehicles as they passed. Keys are still in them. Purses and wallets are still on the seats. Nobody took anything. They entered an office building and found something. That made Jake's heart stop. In every office, at every desk, people sat quietly with their eyes closed. Men and women in business suits, security guards, cleaning staff. Everyone was there, but none of them moved. Dr. Cooper pulled out his medical scanner and checked the nearest person. She's alive. Heart rate is slow but steady. Brain activity is actually higher than normal, much higher. Jake knelt down next to a woman sitting at her desk. She was breathing slowly and peacefully. Her face was calm, almost happy. Ma'am, he said loudly, can you hear me? The woman didn't respond. Jake touched her shoulder gently, then shook it. Nothing. It was as if she couldn't sense the physical world around her at all. Commander, you need to see this, called Amy Foster from across the office. Jake found her standing in front of a computer that was still running. The screen showed strange patterns of light and color that seemed to shift and dance. Every computer in the building is showing the same thing, Amy said. It's not random. There are mathematical patterns in these images, but they're more complex than anything I've ever seen. Kate Brooks reported in through her radio. We've checked 12 buildings so far. Same thing in all of them. Everyone's alive. Everyone's in the same trance state. They made their way to the local hospital. Jake hoped the medical staff might be awake, trying to help people. But the doctors and nurses were in the same peaceful trance as everyone else. Even the patients in their beds sat quietly with closed eyes. Greg Stone checked the medical equipment. According to these monitors, everyone is perfectly healthy. Actually, they're healthier than normal. Blood pressure is ideal. Stress hormones are at 0 levels. How is that possible? Jake asked. I don't know, Greg replied. It's like their bodies have found perfect balance. No illness, no pain, no stress. Back on the ship, Lisa Parks made an important discovery. Commander, I've figured out where that strange energy is coming from. It's not from any machines or transmitters. It's coming from the people themselves. What do you mean? Jake asked. Through his communication device. The human brain normally produces small electrical fields, Lisa explained. But every person on Earth is now producing energy patterns thousands of times stronger than normal. And they're all in perfect sync with each other. Dr. Cooper joined the conversation from the planet's surface. That would explain the readings we're seeing. Somehow, every human brain on Earth is connected to every other one. Jake felt a chill. Connected how? I think they're sharing consciousness, Dr. Cooper said quietly. All of humanity has become one giant mind. Meanwhile, in space around Earth, alien ships began to arrive. The Zephyrian scouts had reached human territory and were shocked by what they found. Their ship captain, Velinara, reported back to her. Home world. The humans are all alive, but they're not responding to anything. They just sit quietly like they're sleeping, but their energy output is incredible. Our instruments have never seen anything like it. The Keth Empire ships arrived a day later. General Morgak himself came to see what had happened to humanity. His warriors were ready for battle, but there was no one to fight. This is not what we expected, Mordak told his officers. The humans haven't been destroyed. They've become something else entirely. Should we attack their cities? Asked his second-in-command. No, Mordak replied after studying the energy readings. Something that can transform an entire species. Overnight is not something we want to anger. Elder Keeper Zarthul of the Watchers also arrived at Earth, but he stayed hidden from the other aliens. He had been alive for thousands of years and had seen this happen twice before with other species. The Great Awakening proceeds as it was foretold, he recorded in his logs. Humanity has reached the threshold. They have chosen evolution over destruction. Back on Earth, Jake's team continued their investigation. In every city, every town, every remote village, they found the same thing. All humans sat peacefully in meditation, their minds connected to something beyond physical reality. Commander, Lisa called from the ship. The energy patterns from Earth are getting stronger, and I think I'm starting to understand what they mean. What are you seeing? Knowledge, Lisa said with wonder in her voice. The patterns contain information, mathematical formulas, scientific theories, artistic concepts. It's like the entire collective knowledge of humanity is being broadcast into space. Jake looked down at the peaceful faces around him. They're not gone, he realized. They've just moved to a different level of existence, and they're trying to share what they've learned with the rest of the universe. For the first time since the silence began, Jake smiled. Humanity hadn't disappeared. They had transcended. Dr. Cooper had been working for 3 days straight, trying to understand the energy patterns coming from Earth. His eyes were red from staring at computer screens, but he couldn't stop. What he was seeing changed everything humans thought they knew about the universe. Jake, you have to see this, he called excitedly from his laboratory on the ship. Jake hurried to Cooper's station. The doctor had covered every screen with complex mathematical equations and strange symbols. I've been running the energy patterns through our translation computers, Cooper explained. At first, nothing made sense. But then I realized these aren't just random signals. They're actually solutions to problems. What kind of problems? Cooper pointed to the first screen. This section contains the complete formula for faster than light, travel without the dangerous side effects we currently deal with. Look here. They've solved the energy decay problem that limits our jump drives. Jake stared at the equations. Even though he wasn't a scientist, he could see they were incredibly complex. Are you saying the people on Earth figured this out? Not just figured it out, Cooper said. They're broadcasting the solution to anyone who can understand it. And that's just the beginning. Cooper moved to another screen. This pattern shows how to create unlimited clean energy. This one explains how to cure genetic diseases we thought were impossible to treat. And this one ... He paused, shaking his head in amazement. This one contains philosophical concepts about the nature of existence itself. Dr. Sam Peters, the ship's linguist, joined them. He was a thin man who spoke 12 languages and understood dozens more. "I've been analyzing the non-mathematical patterns," he said. "They're not in any human language, but they contain meaning. It's like they're communicating through pure thought." "What are they saying?" Jake asked. "Peace," Sam replied simply. "Understanding, love, unity. The concepts are simple, but the way they're expressed is beautiful, beyond anything I've ever seen." Lisa Parks called from the communication station. "Commander, we're getting reports from the alien ships around Earth. They're all trying to study the same energy patterns we are." Jake went to the bridge and opened a channel to the Zephyrian scout ship. Captain Velinara's blue-scaled face appeared on the screen. "Commander Morrison," she said in her musical voice. "My science team has been analyzing the transmissions from your planet. We have never seen anything like this before. Your species appears to have unlocked secrets that we have been searching for centuries to understand." "What do you mean?" Jake asked. "The energy patterns contain solutions to the greatest challenges facing all spacefaring civilizations. Resource distribution, peaceful conflict resolution, environmental restoration. Your people have found answers to everything." Another voice joined the conversation as General Mordock of the Keth Empire forced his way into the communication channel. His red, scarred face filled part of the screen. "This is impossible," the Keth general growled. "No species can gain such knowledge so quickly. This must be some kind of trick." "It's not a trick," Jake said firmly. "My people have evolved beyond what they were before." "Evolved?" Mordock laughed harshly. "They sit like vegetables, not moving, not fighting. This is not evolution. This is death." Velinara spoke more gently. "General Mordock, perhaps there are different kinds of strength. Your people value physical power, but these humans seem to have found mental and spiritual power instead. Back on the ship, strange things were beginning to happen to Jake's crew. Tony White, one of the engineers, came to see Greg Stone in the medical bay. "Doc, I've been having weird dreams," Tony said. "Really clear ones. I dream I'm sitting in a huge room with millions of other people, and we're all connected somehow. We can share thoughts and feelings without talking." Steve Clark, the pilot, had similar experiences. "In my dreams, I understand things I never understood before. Like how the universe really works, and why we're all here." Greg Stone ran medical scans on both men. "Your brain activity is changing," he told them. "It's becoming more like the patterns we're seeing from Earth." Jake felt worried. "Are they sick?" "I don't think so," Greg replied. "I think they're starting to connect with whatever happened to the people on Earth." That night, Jake had his own strange dreams. He found himself sitting in a vast space filled with warm, golden light. Around him, he could sense the presence of millions of minds, all connected, all sharing knowledge and understanding. He saw his sister Mary, who lived in Chicago. In the dream, she smiled at him with perfect peace in her eyes. "We're not gone, Jake," she said without speaking. "We're more here than we've ever been. We've just learned to exist in a bigger way." "I don't understand," Jake replied in the dream. "You will," Mary said. "Some of you have to stay in the physical world to help others understand what we've become. You're the bridge between what we were and what we are now." Jake woke up with tears in his eyes. The dream had felt more real than any dream he'd ever. HAD Dr. Cooper made another breakthrough that morning. "The energy patterns are getting stronger and more complex," he reported. "It's like the collective consciousness of humanity is growing, learning, expanding every day." "What are they learning?" Jake asked. "Everything," Cooper replied with wonder. "They're exploring concepts that are beyond our current science. They're discovering new ways to understand reality itself." Amy Foster had been working with the navigation. "Computers all week. Commander, I think I know why some of us weren't affected by whatever happened to Earth. Why? We were too far away when it started, she explained. I think there was a specific moment when humanity made this change, and anyone who wasn't on Earth or near other humans missed it. So we're stuck the way we are? Amy shook her head. I don't think so. I think we were left behind on purpose. The dreams Tony and Steve are having suggest we can still connect with the evolved humans, but we maintain our connection to the physical world too. Jake began to understand. We're meant to be translators, to help other species understand what humanity has become. As if to confirm his thoughts, a new voice spoke in his mind. It was warm and familiar, like the voice of every friend he'd ever had speaking together. You understand correctly, Jake Morrison, the voice said. Your species has taken a great step forward. But the universe has many other species who are not ready for this change. You and others like you will help them when their time comes. Jake looked around the bridge. His crew was staring at him with wide eyes. Did you all hear that? He asked. They nodded. For the first time, they had all heard the voice of evolved humanity speaking directly to their minds. The transformation was not just happening to Earth. It was happening to everyone who was ready to listen. 3 months had passed since humanity's great transformation. Jake Morrison stood in the newly built conference room aboard the Horizon's Edge, looking out at an amazing sight. Ships from dozens of alien species floated peacefully around Earth, all there to learn from the evolved humans. The Zephyrians had been the first to officially request help. Captain Velinara now served as their ambassador to the new humanity. The peaceful traders had embraced the knowledge being shared and were already using some of the simpler technologies to improve life on their worlds. The energy distribution systems your people shared have ended resource wars on 17 Zephyrian worlds, Velinara told Jake during their daily meeting. Our children are learning the cooperation techniques from the consciousness patterns. Violence among our people has dropped by 90%. Jake smiled. It still amazed him how quickly things had changed. The evolved humans on Earth continued to sit in their peaceful meditation, but their influence was spreading across the galaxy. Dr. Cooper had become the chief translator of the complex information streams. He worked with alien scientists to break down the advanced concepts into forms their different species could understand. Today's transmission included the solution to faster healing from injuries, Cooper reported. The Keth could really benefit from this if they would accept it. The Keth Empire had been the most resistant to the changes. General Mordak still orbited Earth with his warships, but he had not attacked. The knowledge being freely shared was too valuable, even for warriors like the Keth. My soldiers are having dreams, Mordak had admitted to Jake the week before. Dreams of peace, of cooperation. This is not natural for us. Maybe it's more natural than you think, Jake had replied. Maybe fighting is what's not natural. Elder. Keeper Zarthu of the Watchers had finally revealed himself to the other species. The ancient being explained what humanity had achieved. This is called the Great Awakening, he told the gathered alien representatives. It happens when a species reaches perfect unity of mind and spirit. In my lifetime, I have seen it happen 3 times. Each time, it changes the entire galaxy for the better. What happened to the other species who experienced this? Asked Velinara. They became teachers and guides, Zarthul replied. They help younger species learn and grow until they too are ready for their own awakening. Jake had learned that he and the other unascended humans had a special role to play. They could communicate with both the evolved humans and the physical universe. This made them perfect ambassadors. Lisa Parks had developed new communication protocols that allowed her to translate the consciousness-based transmissions into forms other species could understand. Her work had become essential to the growing galactic cooperation. The patterns today included artistic concepts from Earth's greatest musicians and painters, she reported. But they're combined with mathematical harmonies that create new forms of beauty. The Zephyrians are already composing songs based on these patterns. Amy Foster had become the chief coordinator for visiting alien ships. More species arrived every week, drawn by stories of the miraculous knowledge being shared from Earth. We have the Helix Confederation arriving tomorrow, Amy announced. They're bringing their best scientists to study the medical advances. And the crystal builders want to learn about the new construction techniques. The most surprising development had been with the Keth Empire. Despite General Mordak's resistance, many of his soldiers were being affected by the dreams and visions. Some had requested permission to land on Earth to experience the transformation directly. My warriors are becoming soft, Mordak complained to Jake. They speak of peace and understanding instead of honor and conquest. Maybe they're becoming wise instead of soft, Jake suggested. Wisdom is for the weak, Mordak growled. But Jake could see doubt in the general's eyes. Tony White and Steve Clark had become the first humans to voluntarily undergo the partial awakening. They could still function in the physical world, but they also had direct access to the collective consciousness of evolved humanity. It's incredible, Commander, Tony explained after his transformation. I can feel the thoughts and emotions of everyone on Earth, but I can also feel something bigger, like we're all part of one huge mind that spans the entire universe. Steve nodded. And the knowledge, it's not just facts and formulas. It's understanding. Deep, complete understanding of how everything connects to everything else. Greg Stone had been studying the medical effects of the transformation. The partial awakening seems to be the perfect balance, he reported. They get access to the collective knowledge and consciousness, but they retain their individual personalities and ability to interact with the physical world. Jake made a decision that would change his life forever. I want to undergo the partial awakening too. His crew gathered around him as he sat in the meditation chamber they had built on the ship. Lisa held his hand as he closed his eyes and opened his mind to the collective consciousness of humanity. The experience was beyond anything Jake could have imagined. He felt his awareness expand to include millions of other minds. The knowledge of all humanity flowed through him. Science, art, philosophy, love, understanding. But most importantly, he felt the deep peace and unity that came from being connected to something greater than himself. When he opened his eyes, Jake was still himself, but he was also more than himself. He could feel the presence of every human on Earth, and through them, he could sense the growing network of consciousness that was spreading across the galaxy. How do you feel? Lisa asked. Complete, Jake replied. For the first time in my life, I feel complete. Over the following weeks, more alien species began showing signs of their own awakening. The Zephyrians were the first, with their children, naturally developing the ability to share thoughts and emotions. The crystal builders found that their entire race could now communicate through harmonic resonance patterns. Even some of the Keth warriors began to change. They formed a new group called the Peace Guard, dedicated to protecting other species and helping resolve conflicts without violence. General Mordak finally requested a private meeting with Jake. The old warrior looked tired and confused. My people are changing, he said. They no longer wish to conquer and fight. They speak of protecting and helping instead. This is not the Keth way. Maybe it's a better way, Jake suggested gently. Mordak was quiet for a long time. I have led armies for 50 years. I have conquered worlds and defeated enemies. But I have never felt the peace that my soldiers describe. Perhaps it is time for me to learn a new kind of strength. Jake watched as the proud general underwent his own transformation. It was amazing to see the anger and aggression fade from Mordak's eyes, replaced by wisdom and compassion. 6 months after the Great Silence began, Earth had become the center of a new galactic civilization based on cooperation and shared knowledge. Species that had been enemies for centuries were now working together to solve problems and explore the mysteries of the universe. Jake stood on Earth's surface, in the same park where he had first discovered the transformed humans. They still sat in their peaceful meditation, but now Jake could feel their presence in his mind. They were exploring dimensions of reality that physical beings couldn't even imagine, and sharing what they learned with all who were ready to receive. Lisa joined him in the park. She had also undergone the partial awakening and now served as the Chief Communication Officer for the new Galactic Alliance. Any regrets? She asked. Jake thought about his old life, commanding a civil research vessel at the edge of human space. That seemed like a lifetime ago now. None, he said. We've become part of something beautiful. Humanity didn't just survive. We became the spark that lit up the entire galaxy. Above them, ships from 100 different worlds orbited peacefully. Around Earth, each species was learning, growing, and preparing for their own eventual awakening. And at the center of it all, humanity continued to share the greatest gift they had ever discovered, the knowledge that all consciousness was connected, and that love and understanding were the most powerful forces in the universe. The universe had become quiet when Earth went silent. But in that silence, something far more beautiful than noise had been born, the sound of countless minds singing together in perfect harmony.